Welcome to the Make It Make Sense podcast, where we make sense of the senseless and learn how things actually work. I'm your host, Yvette Baker.
And I'm Travis Lee.
So take a seat and buckle up. It's going to be an awesome ride.
We're making sense of the senseless and overthrowing governments that are reckless. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
I'm like a bird, I'ma fly away. Yeah. Welcome to this nonsense we call the Make It Make Sense podcast, where we try to make sense of the senseless. I'm Blackberry Molasses, and this is my comrade.
Why can't I be Blackberry Molasses?
I mean, if you want to be.
I'm Travis Lee.
Black Larry Molasses.
Black Larry Molasses?
Yeah, you can be Black Larry Molasses. Hi, everybody. We're here. We didn't die last week, but we could have.
Yeah, we haven't been incarcerated by the state yet, so
Nope.
We've decided to continue on with our little form of rebellion, which is this podcast, where we simply try to make sense of the senseless, all of the current situation that's happening right now in our country, with the dismantling of our government and our essential services, and they're threatening Social Security now. And if you think you're not on the list, trust me, you're not on the list yet, but you're just a little farther down the list. They're coming for us all. So this is where
Mass
we fight
hysteria.
back. We fight back by just trying to spread a little education and making sense of some very complicated issues. And today we're going to do that with a very complicated issue, and we've got a guest coming up in the next segment to talk about it. You want to tell us about it, Yvette?
It's called immigration. Some of you might have experienced it before you were born and before your parents were born, because it was called Ellis Island. And then some of us got brought here against our will.
Not through Ellis Island.
No. By things called a slave ship.
Right. Some of us came, through Ellis Island. Some of us were already here, and
Still got slaved, dragged across, pushed across, actually,
or
across the whole nation.
here we'll just give you some disease blankets and see what happens.
Let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
But before we get to all of that,
But specifically, we're going to have our guest, Iuscely, on, who's going to speak about DACA.
Yes, DACA, and because I know she will eloquently discuss DACA, we're going to leave that to her, because we know our limitations on this show, and so when we need help, we ask for it, unlike the Trump administration.
Yeah.
Because they don't know now.
Yeah.
So how are we doing?
I'm doing all right. We had the blow up in the Oval Office last week, and we were, if you haven't listened to our last episode with Ava, we had Ava back on as a guest. We talked about it a little more extensively, but I'm still Devette and I just happened to be on the phone
Together.
at the same time when that press conference came on. I had the TV on in the background while I'm talking to Devette, and all of a sudden I saw a breaking news thing alert come on NBC, and all of a sudden they broke into the press conference, and we were both like, "Oh, let's just see. Oh, it's just Zelensky, no big deal. It's a state.
We
press
thought
conference.
they were going to sign something.
They're going to be polite at least and say, hey, this is what we're going in to discuss today. It's the formalities that you always see uninteresting, and then
So
all
boring.
of a sudden."
I thought
you weren't even going to
fisticuffs.
turn it on. You weren't even
No,
going to turn
I was
it
like,
on.
Travis, just tell me what's happened. He's like,
Yeah.
no, you should turn it on, Devette. And I'm like, oh. I will admit, I was in the bathroom because I take a water pill. And I literally had just gotten home from having surgery. So, I'm still sore. And thank you for everyone who had prayers and nice thoughts to say. Things are going smashingly after surgery. And I just was like, what? And then I wasn't even looking at anyone because I was on the phone with Travis. my dad was just like watching his stories and unaware of what was going on. And I'm like, wait, what? Did he just... And then here comes Boy Wonder. And so, like, we're not going to spend too much time on it, but needless to say, Travis and I were so offended and shocked and appalled. There's a whole 30-minute segment up, a part of a whole other show that we did with Ava that talks about that embarrassing bullshit. So...
Pedos, pizza, and men behaving badly is what we named the last episode. Just look for that.
Just look for it. It's great. And so I am personally doing great. Like I said, I had my surgery last week. I'm feeling optimistic. I still have not gotten to actually chew food. I don't miss the actual food. It's probably just the part of not being able to chew the food. So, but we'll get there. It'll probably be May before I actually can sit down and have like a whole meal. Mm-hmm. But it'll be all right because I am doing what is best for me and my body. And it's my choice, America. It's my choice, boys. And I'm going to keep doing it as long as I can. So everybody band together and just say, my choice, my body. So I don't know if you know this, Travis, but it's March.
The fuck you say?
Yes, it's March.
Yes, it is.
And
I just paid my rent, so yes, it is.
Yes.
I get to exist in this
this place
for 30 more days.
Good job. Yeah. So this month we're going to be celebrating women because it is National Women's Month. There should be some applause here.
Yeah.
Enter applause. No, I want you to actually enter applause.
No, this is good.
Oh, this is the applause. Okay.
We're
and so, we're gonna do
I
this.
love women.
Yeah, I know you
big
do.
Fan.
He's a big fan of women.
Fan.
You know who else is a big fan of women?
Other women?
Me.
Yeah.
I am. I'm a big her women. This morning, actually, Travis and I were I think we were texting. We weren't on the phone, and Tori Amos came on the Morning Joe, and I was like, ooh. She still melts my butter, gives me the tinglies.
I know.
She's great.
I know.
I actually sang one of her songs this week. So,
yeah.
Hey, Tori Amos.
She melts your butter? I've never heard that expression.
Melts my butter. Yeah, she does.
Nice.
I love her. She's like the best. Her
she
songs are the best.
Butter too.
Yeah, that's a throwback from Teenage Devette. Thanks, Liz, for introducing me to Tori Amos at a sleepover. But so every week we're going to be just doing some this week's in women history, and in solidarity of Black women and Hispanic women, I found some nice little facts we're going to go through. So on March 3rd, so this week, so today, right? Today is the 3rd, or is it the 4th? Or
Today is the 3rd.
Okay, thank you.
112 years ago.
Yeah. So in 1913, women's suffrage parade in Washington, D.C. So this is when you see that famous picture of the women. They look all like nurses walking up to the good old...
very Handmaid's Tale-esque.
Yes, it's very Handmaid's Tale. But over 8,000 women marched to demand a constitutional amendment guaranteeing the right to vote. Notably, despite being advised to march separately, African-American journalist and activist Ida B. Wells, I don't know why I always stumble over her name, defiantly joined her Illinois delegation, highlighting the intersectionality of race and gender in the suffrage movement. Now, unfortunately, somebody sold Black women out so that white women could get the vote, but that's a whole nother episode. In March 6th, 1981, that was the year my sister was born. Dr. Bernard, Halston was appointed president of City College of New York. Dr. Halston was a former dean of arts and sciences at Tufts, and she became the first African American to lead City Colleges of New York. Or he did. Why does it say he? What is going on? So yeah, maybe that's not the right thing because we're supposed to be talking about women.
Bernard.
Oh my God! What? Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh, OMG! Excuse me. I don't know why this is in here.
Okay. You're allowed to make
I'm
mistakes.
so embarrassed.
You're allowed. It's women's. It's
Women's History Month.
You're allowed to make mistakes.
I'm not allowed to make mistakes.
You know what? You probably wrote that and had another point to put on top of it. There was probably
I
something
don't
to
know.
add to
I
that,
have no
and-
clue.
Yeah,
So
it's okay.
shame on me.
It's okay.
Okay, but this one, oh yeah, no. So we only have 3. So we're just gonna scratch that. I did that to see if Travis was paying attention. It was
Bernard. I mean,
it was
fine.
Bernard.
It's fine.
Maybe it's not Bernard. Maybe it's Bernadette. I don't know.
It might be, but we're just
We're just gonna go to the next one.
Okay.
So on March 7th, 1917, was the birth of Janet Collins.
That's a woman.
That is a woman.
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, we as far as we know, we're
Yes,
not gendering
yes, we're
people.
not, yeah.
Okay, and she became an iconic ballet dancer and teacher. She was the first African American dancer to perform on stage at the New York Metropolitan Opera, breaking racial barriers in classical ballet. Travis, did you know that I am trained classical ballet dancer?
Devette, did you know that I am as well?
I did not, Travis. Are you being stupid and telling me an untruth?
I am not. So when I was in middle school, I wanted to take Kung Fu or Taekwondo, and my mom wouldn't let me because she was very anti-violence, but she also understood the
balance and all that would come
that
from
it was
that.
important, you know,
Yeah.
but she didn't want me to recklessly do that. So she was like, I'll make you a deal. She's like, you take ballet lessons and you don't have to necessarily stick with it forever, but you take ballet lessons for a while and give it an honest shot. And if you do that, I'll let you take Taekwondo. So I actually, when I was in middle school, I took ballet lessons at the High School of the Arts, where I would later go to high school.
That's awesome, Travis.
And I gave it an honest shot for a while. I did, I stuck with it longer than I thought I would, and then I eventually went on to do Taekwondo because that's what I really.
That's
was.
what's up.
Yes.
They, flip. There's some.
But I know how to plie and all that shit.
That's so great. I know. That's why my toes look the way they do. Because the last 2 years I was on point, and then I got chunky.
Yeah.
And then, back then they didn't think chunky girls could do ballet. Yeah. And then I danced with Sadie Stoudemeister. And we took Mr. Drew's gym class. And we got the best grade because we took it seriously.
Yep.
And then bitches was mad because we were good. And they're like, those two thick bitches. Yep. But Sadie was an ice skater. I don't know if you knew that. Sadie Stoudemeister. I know you don't remember who that is, but she was an ice skater. No. So, yeah, she was in the band, I think. Or she was theater, like a tech.
Yeah, that's what I don't know.
Yeah. Travis don't remember nobody, and I remember everybody because I was on yearbook, and I knew everyone's business because of yearbook. Like, I didn't want to know everybody's business. Okay, and then lastly, we have March 9th, 1990, Dr. Antonia Novella Sworn. What? You know what? I'm done. This is over.
You want me to read it?
No, yes, because I can't read anymore.
Okay, I got it.
Thank
On
you.
March 9th, 1990, Dr. Antonia Novella Sworn in a U.S. Surgeon General.
She was sworn in.
She was sworn in.
Yes.
Oh, okay. See, you
I have a typo.
yeah,
Sorry.
all right. Dr. Antonia Novello was sworn in as U.S. Surgeon General. Dr. Novello became the first Hispanic and first female U.S. Surgeon General, serving as the nation's top health official and advocating for public health issues, including the prevention of youth smoking and alcohol abuse. I commend her for doing that. It just didn't stick with me.
I hate you, Travis. One day we're going to get Travis to stop killing himself, but probably not.
Now give me a beer and a cigarette. Let's go.
Oh my God.
No. Thank you, Dr. Antonio Novella.
Yeah.
We appreciate your efforts.
And we thank everyone that we listed this week. And please, if you can, celebrate the women in your life. You would not be here without a woman. And I'm sure there are plenty of women that have slaved your lives. And I'm speaking to the men out there. Congratulations if you're still alive at this point in your life. So the next segment, real quick, is what are them Dems up to? And I looked, and
There's something. There's something. You got something.
I mean, there were some things, but they weren't great. I
Oh.
mean, and these were like the two great
I don't
things
know about
that
these things, so I want to hear about
these
them.
two great things. I gotta clean my glasses first and make sure that might help if I can see, because my bifocal is
This is
it's
all
tripping me out.
news to me, so I
Yeah.
want to hear what they've been up to.
Oh no, that didn't help. That didn't help. Give me a second. I also have to steal the microphone.
You
back.
want me to read it?
Sure. Go ahead. Read
Because I want to know.
Here,
so
I'm gonna let Travis-
I'm reading this cold.
Yeah. Let Travis
I want to know what these Democrats have been up to because I haven't heard anything. So your first point is here that legal challenges against executive orders. So apparently there have been some. Democrats have actively pursued legal action to block President Trump's executive orders, at least a portion of them, not all of them, particularly those affecting immigration and citizenship. For instance, on February 5th, Judge Deborah Boardman issued a preliminary... Is she a federal judge or state judge? I don't know. Judge Deborah Boardman issued a preliminary nationwide... Oh, she has to be federal. Nationwide injunction against the administration's attempt to alter birthright citizenship, a move Democrats support to uphold constitutional rights. Right?
I guess. I mean, I'm not.
It's something.
Here's the thing. I mean, all I could say was when I read these, it's something.
Is she a Democratic judge? I don't even know.
I don't even know.
Is that something the Dems have been up to, or is it just the judge making a good, solid legal, injunction against something that's totally illegal that the Trump administration has been up to? So I don't know. I don't know if we can really credit the Dems with that one, but the second point, you want me to get to it?
I got it.
Okay.
I was looking at for something that had to do with maybe why we're not organizing and protesting as much. And this one says, grassroots mobilization against policy changes. Democratic activists have organized widespread protests targeting both President Trump and influential figures like Elon Musk, especially concerning policies perceived to undermine federal health, education, and human service agencies. These demonstrations reflect grassroots oppositions to the administration's agenda. So we have the 50 states that they do. They've been doing them on Mondays and Tuesdays now, which makes more sense to me than doing them on Saturdays when no one is at work.
And no one's paying attention.
And no one's paying to the news cycle, right? Because I have a feeling, and I don't want to, I really am like, who's doing the press stuff for these folks? Because y'all need to step y'all press game up, and you should be sending it to every news outlet in wherever you're doing it. Also, I know here in Milwaukee, they've been having them down at the mayor's office because here's the thing. The state pays the federal government money. From your sales taxes, from your state taxes, that money goes to the federal government like a entrance fee or like the fee you pay to get into the club. So every level of government is culpable, right? Our dumbass mayor allowed the RNC to be in our city. And you know what they did while they was here? They killed an innocent homeless man. So, sorry, our mayor deserves to get protested. There's a lot of mayors in small towns that deserve to get protested because they let Trump come and have rallies in their little towns. And all the things, I know cities have to make money and it's about making money and bringing things. But no, if we don't allow these folks in, no, Travis is making this face. I'm sorry. How else are we going to, we can't at least, I don't know.
As long as it's legal and what they're doing is legal, you don't have to advocate for it. I'm not begging them to come here. They got to go somewhere. I don't think you have a right to hold it anywhere. I mean, you do. You know, if you want to hold a rally, you can hold a rally anywhere as long as you have the right permits or whatever. I'm just saying you don't have to welcome them with open arms.
Well, I feel like Chevy just was like, "Come on in, Trump."
I do too, and it, you know, I mean, you got to think of the backlash if he wouldn't have done that. You know, he probably, but I mean, sometimes you need to stand up for what you believe in.
We could have got the DNC back.
I'm just saying, you know, Republicans are allowed to hold rallies, Democrats are allowed to hold rallies, whatever.
And he let him come back twice, because he came back.
Just let him come back, like invite him, you know, like, hey, open arms. And, you know, they were hoping for an economic impact on the city, and guess what? The shit didn't happen.
Nope. Except for the grinder went up.
Yeah, Grinder made out on it.
Grinder made a lot of money.
Yeah, that's fine. Hey, I guess. That's fine.
I guess. I mean, I mean, there were a lot more things, but because of the guests that we're having, we want to spend as much time with the guests that we're supposed to have, and letting you guys learn about DACA and learn about birthright citizenship, because these are two very pertinent things that you can help and go out and be a part of and help support these days. And they have been things that you could have been supporting to help not get to where we are. And we want to spend the most time on that. But those were two things that stuck out for me. Just one, because those are two issues that mean something to me. I am a grassroots organizer. It was my second career, and I still try to do as much work in that sector as I can as what I call a free citizen who is a lady of leisure. And
I smoke a lot of grass.
Well, yeah, you do.
You're grassroots organizer, and I smoke a lot of grass.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
Travis, I'm going to have a bruise. I take blood thinner. Stop trying to beat me to death.
I'm not beating. Okay.
You guys, you know, I just want to say, Travis, thank you for helping me organize my socials. And thank you for bringing me to Russia. Russia with love.
Russia, if you're still listening, we're here.
We're here for your question.
We stand with the Russian people. We do not stand with the Russian monarch.
No.
And we do always stand with the people of Ukraine, and we stand with people everywhere
that don't like fascists or Nazi regimes,
or monarchs, or anything.
Yeah, like, you know, I mean, the coolest of the monarchs died in a horrible car crash. But her youngest son is pretty dope. But the rest of y'all, and the guy that's on the Traitors, Mr. Mouthbatten, he's pretty cool and pretty chill. But the rest of y'all, big thumbs down, L7 Weenie. So we're about to have Travis say some socials, and tell y'all where to find us. I do have a new Substack. You can find me on Substack at, I think it's at DevetB. There's a picture of the podcast. We forgot. Wait. We have a friend of the pod, our super duper friend of the pod. I know her as Dorothy Studerman. Travis knows her as D on the Facebook. And she helped us get, what, Travis? Business cards that Travis so wonderfully designed. So now I think we're really official because we have business cards, and now I can hand them out when I go outside and people ask me what the name of the podcast is, and I don't have to write it on napkins, toilet paper. Let's see, what's the strangest thing? Somebody gave me a speeding ticket to write it down on. Most of the time I just tell people, give me your phone, and then I type it into whatever their preferred music listening streaming thing is. You know, we are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, and the list goes on.
Spotify, iHeartRadio, and YouTube.
Yep, we're everywhere, you guys. So the show has a TikTok. I have a TikTok at DCat. Travis does not have a TikTok, but we're working on it. Travis don't even like using social media most of the time. So if you see him tagged in something, it's because I did it. The show has an Instagram. My Instagram is Catherine Baker. I also have one that is my government name, Devette Baker. We both have Facebook. And Travis is about to rattle off that email address for y'all.
MakesSensePodcast123@gmail.com. That's MakesSensePodcast123@gmail.com.
So we're supersonic, and we need to go get some water and practice some good skincare, and then we'll be back.
We'll be back right after the break with our amazing guest, Iuscely, and a discussion about DACA.
Yes.
Make it make sense. Make it. Make sense podcast.
Baby, come back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Make It Make Sense podcast, where we break down history that they don't teach because school sucks.
And who are you?
In
You're
need
still
of a
Devette.
closet.
And I'm Travis, and we're back. And today we're talking about DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. This policy has been a lifeline for hundreds of thousands of undocumented young people, but it's been under attack since the day it was created.
Do you know anybody that's a DACA recipient, Travis?
I'm sure I do, but not a lot of people that actually talk about it.
Yeah, because it's scary to talk about it. Some years ago, I went to a conference in Colorado, and there were people who were actively scared at this conference that they were going to get taken by ICE. And that was when I first learned about DACA. And so today, since this is the immigration episode, we decided to have a guest, a very special guest, one of my favorite people on the internet. Let's welcome Iuscely to the pod. She's a friend of the pod, who is a DACA recipient and advocate. Welcome to the Make It Make Sense podcast, you little lady. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm excited to make it make sense.
Yes, please, because here's the thing. I am an expert on some things, and DACA is not it. So we really were excited to be able to have you today, to come and talk to us and explain and make this policy that I think is amazing, that actually doesn't go far enough, and let us know a little bit about it. So I'm not going to mince any words, so let's go. Let us know, why was DACA what it is actually, and why it was created.
Yeah, so DACA was created as a Band-Aid for the DREAM Act. So in the early 2000s, 2010-ish, there was an attempt to pass, which is now outdated, the DREAM Act. And what does the DREAM Act mean? It was an acronym for, sorry.
That's okay. I'll
There's
help
a lot
you.
of background stuff.
Here,
No,
I'll
there's
help
like
you.
a lot of background stuff.
So President Obama in 2012, he
Oh,
had
I mean, I could say that much.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
But okay, so DACA was just a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. There was an attempt to pass what was known as the DREAM Act. It was introduced in 2001. Hence, we all got now coined the Dreamers. The Dreamers is also sort of an outdated term because after many failed attempts, we still don't have the DREAM Act. And the first version was titled Development, Relief, and Education for Alien Minors.
Oh God,
So-
that's horrible.
Horrible.
Yeah, so right, like what I understand, and sorry, Travis, I'm just gonna jump right in there, is that we are talking about kids who had no say in coming here.
Yes. Yep.
Some don't even remember their birth countries.
Yep.
And then DACA did give them some protection from
Yep.
deportation, and work permits and a shot at stability.
Sort of.
And then
Yeah.
it wasn't just handed out, right? Like, I remember there being a lot of activism on that the youth were doing it.
Yeah.
And they organized, they had sit-ins, they pressured lawmakers, and there was a
Yeah.
big fight.
Yeah.
Because I went to that organizing conference, and this was in 2017, I believe.
Yeah.
And they were still actively fighting.
Yep.
And and I was just like you're not a citizen, like you don't have, and it was baffled to me. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that you can talk about how anything that you know about how the
Yeah.
activism with, were you involved in anything, or do you remember
Yeah.
seeing what was going on at that time?
Yeah, so I mean, like I mentioned, it was a it was a band-aid on a bullet wound because we didn't get the DREAM Act, but we got DACA. And DACA in existence only lived in its full entirety between 2012 and 2016. Because after 2016, any new applicants did not qualify. So I remember being 16, paying an attorney $1,000, and that didn't include the fee, which since then has now, for the last 2 years, increased to $555 if you file online and $630 if you file with a money order, which is what most attorneys prefer.
Right.
And you had to prove, ridiculous.
Counter fees.
You had to prove that you were an outstanding
Citizen.
right, quote unquote, because
So
you
you
can't
gotta
be
come
one.
with you gotta come with
You had to everything. Like I had to bring school records, school pictures, transcripts. Every time that I renew, I have to bring transcripts. Once I graduated, I'd have to bring proof of income, proof that I was working, proof that I was paying my taxes, proof of just existing and breathing in the U.S.
Wait.
In-
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yep.
Wait. So, I just get birthed out of my mom's purse, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm a citizen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I am, okay? And I don't have to. The most I have to come up with is my birth certificate, right?
Yeah.
But you have to have basically a binder
Yes.
of your entire life
Yes.
and how good you are.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Or face consequences.
or face consequences. And like if you move, you have to carry this binder around with you
And
everywhere.
not lose it.
And
You
if
know
you're
what- you know
anything
what
like
that sounds like?
What does it sound
That
like?
sounds like them papers they had over there in Eastern Europe.
Yeah. You mean that folder they had to carry with them?
Yeah.
And then
that little star they had to
The
wear
little
and
star
everything
that they-
on their chest.
yes.
Okay, I'm just
No, I mean
saying,
I currently
I'm just
right
saying.
now, due to the state of Wisconsin, I carry around my passport, my birth certificate, my DACA, my state ID, my Mexican state ID, and my proof of allowing a alien into the United States card, like my parole into the U.S.
just like every day you carry that around?
every day, just in case. Yeah, it's my Star of David. I think I could say that because that's
You
what it
can
feels like.
hey, here you can say
You can
whatever
say
you
that.
want.
Yep.
Because like what? Like
Yeah.
I don't even carry my driver's license most of the time sometimes
Yeah.
because I know there's a little statute where you don't actually have to have it on you.
Right. And what
Well,
a privilege
we
that is.
feel like
And
we need
that's a
to.
privilege. Well, but
Yeah.
I would in this current climate, I literally a couple weeks ago had like a argument that, well, it wasn't an argument, it was a discussion that ended in my friend crying because I said, you still look of those folks to them, even though you can prove you are a U.S. citizen. So you might want to start carrying those things that do prove that you are a U.S. citizen with
Yeah.
you. And then your children look more like that because this is a white passing Hispanic person.
Yeah.
Like, and she was like, but no, Devette. And I'm like, but yes. And I said, I'm not telling you this to make you upset. I'm telling you this because this is going to get way more hectic before it gets better. And if it
Yeah.
even gets better. So,
it
go
hasn't
ahead.
gotten better for DACA recipients because we had it, like I said, in its full authority for 4 years. Not even, like 3 and some years because it wasn't introduced until like couple of months after Obama's second term. And once new like applications were taken away, there are current high school students, elementary school students, children that are not in school that are undocumented. There are students that are graduating high schools that don't have a path, that recognize they have to get a job, maybe working you know, at a bar, at a restaurant, collecting tips, getting grilled under the table, because this is just their reality. Like, their parents bring them to this country of opportunities, and their only opportunity is now to go back to the shadows, because that opportunity was taken away from them. So instead of like the millions of students and just humans that qualified for this program, even the Biden administration didn't reenact it in its full authority. So I have students reaching out to me online like, hey, I just graduated high school. Somebody told me that you helped somebody else find a job. I'm like, oh my God, yes, but it's just so sad that there are no resources for students. Wisconsin also doesn't have in-state tuition for undocumented students, which means that even as a DACA recipient, like, I still had to fight for in-state tuition. I had to literally like not even call a chancellor. I had to call my state representative and force them to have the chancellor show up at the Capitol so I could have a meeting with them.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
And so this is just like the constant thing that we have to deal with. And again, DACA is only a Band-Aid on a huge bullet wound that is now like rotting. It doesn't even seem
like a Band-Aid. It's like, I went to a meeting some years ago, and the people in the meeting said that that community garden was going to solve all the problems for the people in the community if they didn't have. Well, we're going to put a community garden in, but take the ER away. And I was like, so people supposed to patch they bullet holes up with some lettuce? Like, I mean,
for a very limited amount of lettuce.
Right. And then you want to put it across the street from St. Joe's? Like, that's where you're going to, there's going to be jazz concerts. And I'm like, so somebody gets shot at your jazz concert and they can't go across the street because it ain't no ER. So, like, thank you. Okay. Iuscely, like, thank you. Because really, you have really just shattered what we were going to cover it all in one fell swoop. Did you always know that you did not have documents, or was it something that you learned about? Like, I liken it to, there's a kid who thought he was with his birth mom, but then found out that she had kidnapped him from the schoolyard after all these years.
Yeah, I think my experience was a little like, yes, I knew, and I knew not to talk about it, but like, when did I feel undocumented was when my 8th grade graduating class, we all, like, my mom and I sold empanadas at laundromats so I could go to Washington, D.C. with my class.
Oh, my dear.
And out of the 100 schools that applied to go into the White House, my class was selected to go into the White House.
And you couldn't go.
And out of all my classmates, like, you go and, like, you form a single file line and you just see a green light, green light, green light. And mine was a red light. And I was walked back out the door. I got sat on the bus with the bus driver for 4 hours.
Oh, my God.
While my classmates and my teachers were inside the White House.
Camilla.
And, like, in those 4 hours was, like, the first time that I felt undocumented, and I was angry. And I remember, like, that ruined the rest of my trip for me. And then going back home to my parents and just yelling at them and acting from a place of anger, like, why? Wow. And then my parents not having the answers to it because they, too, couldn't empathize with me, because it was just, how do we explain to you? Like, we've already told you were undocumented. Like, what did you think that meant? And I think you
didn't think it was not going to let you go on the White House tour.
Exactly. Like, I didn't know. And
You're a
I think,
kid.
Yeah, the hopelessness that I felt in that moment, and then just having my classmates, like, pat me in the back, like, you didn't miss out on anything. We couldn't even touch the walls. And, like, I can't even get to the wall. Like, I couldn't even get there. And I was on the bus for 4 hours with a bus driver. Like,
they could have at least given you a staff to do something else.
Anything could have happened.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so...
Oh, my God.
The experience, that was how I knew I was undocumented, but that's when I finally knew what it felt like to be undocumented.
Is there anything else you feel like you've lost out on because of your immigration status?
Yeah, well, I then studied political science because I wanted to understand why the fuck we were in the U.S., and I finally learned my why. The North American Free Trade Agreement made my grandpa sell his trucking business to American-owned corporations, and in that same breath, my grandpa lost his business and his family because we all had to migrate to the U.S., And then a few short years later, my grandpa gets cancer and my dad can't go back to say goodbye. Like, all of these things just kind of like piled on. And the fact that like I can't take the bar in Wisconsin, like I can't.
She's a lawyer.
Like I go to study political science. My goal is to be an immigration attorney. Can't even do that. And then I have to like sit back and just watch all these experiences for people exist. People that just exist. Like you mentioned, like you out of their mama's pocketbook, and that's it.
Right.
And that's it.
Devet, this is exactly what we were talking about in our last episode with Ava on, when we were talking about what's the problem with treating the United States like a business and treating world governments like a business and not humanitarian organizations that are there to protect us and to feed us and to clothe us and to ensure our safety. You know what I mean?
Right, because we have the right to exist.
This is it. This is exactly the reason why.
So I want to say, sorry, welcome to the shithole country. I'm so sorry. Because my experience with going to DC was I threw up going up the big phallic symbol, and that was what ruined my trip. I threw up all over myself, and I'm gonna tell you.
But at least you were allowed in, right?
At least I was allowed. I mean, the Washington Monument, anybody can get in there. I refused to go through the White House because I think there was a bush in there. Like, I was like, no, I'm going to sell. I didn't go.
Wish we had one of them now.
We kind of wish we had a bush now.
And growing up, like, when people ask you, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like, I always said I wanted to be president of the United States. So, like, even that got taken away from me because...
Right, because I'm not a U.S. citizen.
inborn U.S. citizen.
Yeah, U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
Well, we could talk about the attacks that have happened, but like, I mean, I don't even know where to start with that. Like, because first off, there has not been a finale where they're saying, that any child who is brought here illegally, where they did not know, is a citizen, just like if you were born here of parents, right? Like, I think that's the solution. I honestly thought Obama was going to sign the Dreamers into law, which would have allowed that to happen. Yeah. But, I mean, do you have any other, I know Texas had a thing where they deemed it illegal, and that's why they have not said that they haven't allowed any new Dreamers to apply. Right. But I know you got your passport, right?
Yeah.
Can you say more?
Oh, well, no, I just was wondering, like, how were you able to get your U.S. passport?
I don't have a U.S. passport.
Oh, you don't?
So how was I able to go to Mexico for the first time in 22 years?
Yes. That's what I'm talking about, yes.
There is a program which, under the first Trump administration, was ended.
Okay.
But then under Biden, it was lifted again, and now it's kind of like in limbo because we don't know what Trump is going to do. But basically, advanced parole is something that you can apply to if an immediate family member passes away and you're next of kin. So in my example, I'm an only child. If my mom or my dad die, I'm next of kin, and so I can apply for advanced parole that way. The second way is like educational purposes. So students that are DACA, which is really hard to go to college, but then on top of that, you're a DACA recipient, who are studying abroad. So you have to pay, I think the first time I went, I paid about $7,000 to study abroad.
Wait. Oh, to study abroad. Okay.
Yes, but those $7,000 only covered 5 days of travel. They didn't cover anything else, like just 5 days in Mexico City, and I had to find my way to get to Mexico City. And I also had to apply for advanced parole, which is $630. So apply for advanced parole, pay $7,000 to a program that would just give me that legal entry back into the States.
Okay.
But the program was only 5 days long. So those $7,000 were only for 5 days worth of like an experience.
Okay.
Flights weren't covered, and we came back to California, and then from California we had to find our way back home.
Oh my gosh.
Then, so that was the first time that I ever went to Mexico. The first time that I saw my parents, because my parents self-deported in 2018.
Okay.
During the first Trump era, because 287G is a law in Wisconsin that allows for some sheriff departments to collaborate with ICE.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was a contractor. He installed carpet, and he had a large project in Waukesha.
Oh, yes, I was at that march.
He'd drive to Waukesha and back, and he kept getting profiled by the same cop. Mind you, we did come with a visa, so we all came, like, I don't have that experience of, like, crossing El Rio Grande, but I do have the experience of, like, crossing TSA and being too young to get interviewed, and then eventually ending up in Seattle, Washington, where my dad could get a driver's license. So he kept getting profiled by the same cop in Wisconsin for not having a recent driver's license, and then it just kept happening. He got tired of it, realized he was nearing 60 years old, didn't have a retirement plan, paid his taxes, didn't have Social Security, and still has to work in Mexico till the day he dies. Like, he had to come to that realization very quick.
Yeah.
And then within that same year, him and my mom self-deported to Mexico, and I hadn't seen them in 5 years.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I watched
Yeah.
your journey about, like,
Yeah.
and you're like, I'm home!
Yeah, and it was
she was so excited, but it's, like so sad to watch.
Yeah, they picked me up from the airport. We drove 4 hours back to my town, and my mom gave me the keys to the house, and she was like, welcome home. And I just, like, I finally felt like everything came full circle for me, because I feel like the problem with, like, white people is that they live in the world with not knowing what's going to happen at their end of their time. Like, you live in this, like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Retirement, money, debts, wills, like, they have to plan all these things. And for me, it's like, I already picked, like, the dirt where I'm going to be buried in. Like, I've already, like, gotten to see that full circle because I came home.
Yeah.
And I won't get lost now.
I think like that, and my family thinks I'm morbid. Like, I was like, I just want to be dust.
Yeah.
Like, that's what the incinerator's for. Please take me to the cliffs of Dover and just dump me over, and I'll be home, because the sea's there.
And so many people don't have that plan, you know, and so many people that are DACA recipients, they don't have that ending for them because they don't know. You live with so much, like, uncertainty that even DACA recipients are afraid now to drive. They're afraid to do things. They're afraid to get pulled over by ICE. Did you know there's only 11 ICE agents in Wisconsin, and we think there's hundreds of them? There's only like 70 Border Patrol people, and we think there's thousands of them. But you know where the thousands are? There's 250,000 immigrants in Wisconsin and 70,000 undocumented people.
Yep.
Like, we are the majority, and they're trying to tell us we're not.
Yeah, and they make it think like there's just...
I know. Well, that's what they want you to do. They want you to think they're around every corner because they want you to stay in a constant state of fear.
Yes.
You know, and this is what we're really talking about here, the consequences of families. We're talking about her parents who are business owners. This young lady wants to be an attorney. You know, we're talking about these kind of people, not the kind of people that the rhetoric is getting thrown around of these millions and millions of undocumented illegals coming over the border from mental institutions, from just bristling with fentanyl. And guns and bombs, and they're coming out of mental institutions and prisons in waves.
I want y'all to know
waves.
that Iuscely and I met, like, in this organic, organizing way.
Yeah.
They are a lovely, lovely Latina person.
Yeah.
Her story is so inspiring to me, and that's why I wanted her to come on and, like, share. Like, hey, like, I just want to be a lawyer. I want to help other people like me. And this little tiny thing that literally she had absolutely no control over. And her parents didn't really either, because, you know, they say you should do it, the right way.
Yeah, and there is no
her
right
parents
way.
came here with documents.
Yeah, the right way.
Yeah.
The right way, and then they still were never.
They moved the line. They keep moving the line.
Now it's $5 million. My $5 million to everybody. If you want to be a citizen.
And if I had $5 million, I wouldn't have come to the U.S.
Right?
Right,
ma'am. Thank you. So
and like that's all. I just want to add that that's always
go
been a
ahead.
thing. Like if you invest $1 million into the stock market,
Right.
you can get a U visa. Like
Right.
That's always been a thing, but now
Yes.
it's like a glamorized thing because it's
Right.
on the
Yeah,
media.
That's how
Yeah.
kind of Elon got in here is
he gave money.
investing in American business, and as long as it's around $1 million, they'll let your ass in.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll give up your Canadian citizenship? Sure. Okay. So I had one more thought before we move on to the next topic. But how do you see? Have you seen a lack of awareness about like Black undocumented immigrants? Is it different? Is it the same?
Like Black Latino or
No.
I mean
no.
like
Just
like
no,
dark
there's
skin-
there's
okay.
white
Okay.
there's white undocumented immigrants, there's Black undocumented immigrants.
Yeah.
But I think because the rhetoric around Latino people has been so prevalent that our own subconscious bias, when you think of an immigrant, you don't think of a white or a Black immigrant.
Not anymore, but good old
No, you
Ellis
don't.
Island, because I mean,
Yeah.
good old, until maybe West Side Story, what was that about? That whole, like, that's people's example. Where they wanted to make the Puerto Ricans last I checked, Puerto Rico was a part of this shithole country. Last I
Yeah.
checked.
And they can't vote for president, so like what are they really?
No, they sure. Some of those territories sure made some noise though at that Dimon conventions though.
Yeah.
They sure had some things to say.
All the taxes and none of the power.
Right,
Yeah.
taxation without representation.
That's
Last
right.
time I checked, and that
Yeah.
caused a whole what? Tea
Us.
party. A whole tea party.
A whole us.
A whole us. I think the other side of the coin, and there's a lot of things that we can do, right? Like so, I think one of the things that I find helpful, and I tell people to do, it's the one thing you do every day. You can pick up the phone and call somebody and demand that the DREAM Act is still sitting in Congress, y'all. And they don't seem to be doing anything else right now. They're not trying to get rid of Don Juan and his band of thieves. So maybe they could pass the DREAM Act, and you can literally call. You can call whoever you want at this point, because here, let's say everybody is fair game. Just call them and say, look, since y'all can't get a hold of the Cheeto Man, how about y'all protect the Dreamers and have a nice sit down? And I think people don't think civic engagement matters, but
Yeah.
I mean, how did you think that it would be a great thing to be an organizer, but civic engagement, like, that's how you get the bug?
Yeah, I didn't even know it was a job. Like I didn't even know that I could make
Me
a living
neither
out of
until
this.
I was 40.
Yeah, and I was like, what? Like, there's people that are paid to organize their communities. Like, back home, we just do it because we need running water. And, like, back home, we
Right,
just
like
do
it's just
Like,
a
we just
daily thing.
do it because our neighbor doesn't have electricity. Like,
Yeah, black
it's
people
not,
just do it because they don't give us stuff. Like, it's just like,
Yes.
oh, we don't want shit thrown in our yard.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, I can actually get, like, this is a job, and not that I wouldn't do it if it wasn't a job, but,
Right.
like, I didn't know. So, like, let me go learn how to do this.
Yep. So, yeah, same. And, like, currently what we're doing for DACA recipients in Wisconsin is that we're helping offset some of those costs. And so we're hosting DACA legal clinics throughout the state with paralegals who just offer some of their time, with attorneys who gift us some of their time, and we'll file for them for free. Like, we won't charge for the application renewal process, and we'll pay, if they can't afford it, we'll pay it all, and if they can, we'll pay up to $250 worth of their renewal fees to kind of like stick it to the man. It's the least we can do. Like, nobody
Right.
should have to pay. There's like 500,000 DACA recipients, and if you're paying like a Netflix subscription to the US every 2 years, that's billions that you're
Oh,
paying.
yeah, it's a racket.
And that's why the Pentagon has failed their tax audits, because how do you account for money orders and literal checks? Like, how do you account for them? Like, how do you just do it? And so we're doing it on the side I'm doing it for fun because it fills my heart with joy, but also because it's a necessity at this point. And I feel a responsibility to keep more people safe. There's about 7,000, give or take, DACA recipients in Wisconsin. So it's not a lot of us, but there's enough of us to make enough noise.
Okay. Can you give us some information on how people could get involved if they need to, like if they want to volunteer, and we'll put that somewhere. Travis is good at putting those things, and then I also will post it on my Substack.
If they just follow on Instagram the Comité Sin Fronteras. So,
and you can, yes.
And
please.
I could spell,
No, please send that to us, and send me that into a text messages. And lovely listeners, I will make sure that we share that, and we will have the lovely Iuscely do a little promo for us, and we will have that somewhere so you can see it once everything is out. So we're gonna are we taking a break, or are we gonna just power right through, because we do have some
into birthright
citizenship folks to talk about real quick.
Okay.
And so, here again at the Make It Make Sense podcast, we have to make things make sense. And we just want to quickly talk about...
you want to take a break?
We can, because I mean, people should stand up, stretch, drink some water, and possibly go to the bathroom.
Okay.
So we'll be right back.
All right, we'll be
my
right
purse
back.
is full!
We'll be right back. Don't shout in my ear. All right.
Sorry, Travis.
We're making sense of the senseless and destroying the nonsense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Podcast.
We're back from the break. I hope everyone got some water, was able to go do their business, everything you do when you go on a break. And so, it's the sad part. It's the end of the show. But you know what we do.
Or if you didn't like the show, I mean, it could be your favorite part.
Probably Russia.
This is finally ending my friend obligations. If this is the one episode you're listening to because of friend obligations, you're like, oh, Travis has really been shaming me into listening. Maybe
that was in my inbox talking about, motherfucker, listen to the show.
Iuscely was a wonderful guest. We thank her so much.
Thank you, Iuscely.
Yes.
You're a friend of the pod now.
Yes.
We hope you come back soon, and you don't have to come back and talk about depressing things.
Absolutely.
You could come on the Damage Report and talk about depressing things that have nothing to do with what you talked about today. Right. Again, we want to apologize for not having two guests.
Well, yeah, nobody knows. I mean, it's kind of inside baseball, but we were supposed to have, this was going to be a whole immigration episode where we were going to have the DACA section, and then we were going to have another guest, Peggy, come on and talk about birthright citizenship. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it today to do the recording, but we're just going to roll that over into another episode because we didn't want to do it without her. She was prepared to talk about it, and we were prepared to talk about it with her. So instead of just flying it alone, it's still going to be a problem.
I don't foresee
it's still going to be a problem in a week or two. So I don't think any of it's going to get solved. Probably get worse. So we're going to talk about that another day. But for right now, we're just going to do our normal closing for the show. I do want to
just reiterate, because it is the end of the show, that this month we will not be including any women, unless it's Caroline Levitt's, in any of our shenanigans, because it is National Women's Month. So we won't be including no women allowed being put in the corner.
Okay. At the end of the show.
We will try. We'll try to lay off of the women of the White House for our last segment. I can't guarantee, because that Caroline, I hope her days are numbered, but we are. I mean,
April 1st, it's on.
April 1st though, we're right back to
April 1st. It's
back
on.
to hitting that hammer down with those women, those Pam Bondis and
We're celebrating Women this month, so
Yes.
usually at the end of the show here, we call out somebody for the bullshit that they've been up to. So we're not going to call out any women this month.
No women this month.
Yeah, men
But
only.
everybody else is fair game.
Everybody else is fair.
So this week, we are revisiting our friend Forrest Gump, and Travis just played that lovely.
Pause for it.
Pause for the graphic. Pause for the sound. And Travis, do you have any anybody that you they can't sit with you on the bus?
For this week.
Yeah.
Who can't sit?
Who can't sit here? You can't sit here. And not here.
I don't want to pick Trump and J.D. Vance, of course, because we need to we already know.
They already can't.
So you know what? Who I'm going to pick this week? I'm going to pick Lindsey Graham this week. Because Lindsey Graham, I mean, we could pick a lot of reasons for him, but Lindsey Graham this week, we had the whole blow up in the Oval Office with President Zelensky and that old deal, and whatever you think about that, but
right.
Lindsey Graham has been back and forth to the Ukraine and negotiating with them many, many times. And just a couple months ago was over there. It wasn't even a couple months ago. It was like a few weeks ago.
Right.
Was over
it
there.
It feels like a couple months ago, but it was a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Was over there as a representative negotiating with them, talking about how much they're the strongest ally and we stand with Ukraine and President Zelensky and love, 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 love.
Rah, rah.
And then, all of a sudden, the events of the past week happen, and he comes out, and it's like he's a different person. It's like President Zelensky came into the Oval Office and did his business on the floor or something.
Like a dog.
And that's how he's treating him.
Like, he's just horrible.
And acted like he's been saying this the whole time.
No, I don't. I don't know.
Lindsay, you just got the memo after this happened. You just got a call. They asked you to speak at this press conference. It's not like you just showed up and somebody stuck a microphone in your face. Yeah, no, not so much. Because you might actually give your true feelings if you did that. No, this was set up because the White House called you to give this talking point that you're just disgusted and you don't think these relations can ever, and President Zelensky was rude and all this. And man, we can look at the video. You can lie all you want, but we can look at the video from just a couple weeks ago when you were expressing your love for this man and how much you guys were allies. And I you know what?
Yeah,
you can't sit with us.
You can't. No, you can't sit here. You wore pink on the wrong day. You wore
a little more than that. A little
more
egregious, more egregious
than wearing
that.
pink. Okay,
Yeah.
So I've had a hard time because there are lots of people who just can't sit with me. Stephen Miller. That civics lesson you tried to give at the 1 month anniversary. No, sir. No, the First Amendment is not the fact checker. No, sir. No. No. The First Amendment is the fact checker. We don't need fact checkers. Stop checking the facts. The First Amendment is the fact checker. I don't know how to sum it up. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I posted it on the TikTok. There is a duet with me and the video I'm talking about. The next person is Hakeem Jeffries. Because I want to say, what the fuck are you doing? Because it looks like a whole lot of nothing. Like, a whole lot of nothing. You are the leader of the largest party. You lead. I can't even talk. Like, it just looks like they're doing nothing. Like, come and talk to the people and don't send out very overly worded pressers that no one in the American public is going to read. And you didn't have a press conference about what it said. And then lastly, come here, boy wonder. Yes, I'm talking about old Blue Eyes.
JD.
First off, ma'am. Yes, I called you ma'am. And you're tattooed on eyeliner.
does have pretty eyes, though.
I mean, yeah, it's so bad that it's like, it's unfortunate that you look the way that you do and you act the way that you act. Second of all, get somebody to fix your pants. I don't want to see your white, hairy legs when you're sitting on the couch. At least Trump's pants don't show us his legs. Number 2, if you ever sit in my Oval, because what did Travis say the other day? That is our Oval Office. That is the people and the persons of the United States of America's Oval Office. If you ever go into the Oval Office to speak to a dignitary that way again, I'm not saying that somebody should mollywop you, but that's a mollywop offense in Milwaukee. Like, we don't go up into dignitaries' offices and start talking to them that way. I'm not saying somebody done got yelled at in a town hall, but or in their congressional office, but at the White House during a press conference, sir. For that, all of those reasons, the 3 of you should have a timeout in the back of the bus on that last seat that has no cushion. It's all wires, or it's extremely hard because no one has sat there.
And it's super, super bouncy. You know how that last
Yeah,
seat
it's super bouncy. The cool boys want to sit back there because they think they're going to go flying in the air when they hit a bump and they just end up hurting their nut sacks. I am literally... We are so stressed out. People's hairs are falling out. I just had surgery. I cannot take this. I love this country that hates me. I am a part of the 92%. We are the most feared demographic in this country and in this world. And please do not think that we aren't coming for all of you fascist Nazi bastards. And I'm done, because it is time for us to go. It is time for me and Travis to have dinner. I hope you all enjoyed the show this week. Travis, thank you for being here always and supporting my black ass.
I will always support your black ass. And thank you for supporting my white ass. And,
every day, all day. Because you're my homie.
Thanks. And thank you all for supporting our black and white asses. We appreciate it so much. If you could please subscribe to us where you're listening, whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts or YouTube, and you could share it with somebody that you think would enjoy it or somebody you think that would hate it. We'd love for them to hear it too.
We're actually looking for Trump supporters to respectfully come on the show because I have questions. So
not even Trump supporters, anyone with any other points of view. If you have another
point of view, but yeah. I would like some Trump supporters, please.
I would love it.
I would love it. April's going to be Trump supporters. That's it. The theme. Trump supporters.
The whole month?
Not the whole month, but we are going to have a...
Because it's April Fool's?
This is not an April Fool's joke, everybody. We do have an email. Travis is going to rattle it off real quick before we go. But we are looking for people who have maybe changed their mind. Or people who are...
Dug in.
Yeah. We would be... we want to host you. Here's the thing. I don't have the bandwidth to yell and scream at anybody. So that won't be happening, but I do have some questions. I'll keep them off your heels, but please email us. Travis, what's the email?
The email is makesensepodcast123@gmail.com. That's makesensepodcast123@gmail.com. And please follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and
I have a Substack.
Substack, whatever that is.
Threads.
I don't know what that is, but follow us there. And I'm sure we'll get a Reddit and everything soon. Who knows?
Come on, let's go.
Yeah, so we're going to wrap it up, and thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Make it